Okay, sorry this is coming so late. The Seasons of Life, Jim Rohn, is May 28th, 2019, and I read the first 54 pages of this book today, and I'll do the rest of it tomorrow. So with this, the Seasons of Life, we don't actually get to the seasons in the first half. It's kind of like a preparation, and generally it's about attitude. With this, like a lot of things that I've gone over, it's really saying that attitude dictates everything. But this uses the seasons as obviously a metaphor to go through with how you should cleanse yourself in your life in order to succeed. And mainly what it is talking about, it's better to have very few positive than a lot of people with a couple of positive and a lot of negative, or even a 50-50. It also talks about, in the first portion of this, how the past is to serve you for the future. It's more or less a guideline. And a lot of us, including myself, I'm very guilty of this, sort of harp on the past. We hold on to it. We use it as a forecast for the future instead of a learning curve. And that's really what we need to do. What it also states in here is identifying negative and learning to cast it away if needed. Oftentimes negative, strangely enough, is not from outside source, meaning it's not from somebody random. It's the closer the person is, usually the more negative they are, or they can be, because they don't want you to succeed. It's so bizarre in the way that works. I've also been a part of this. Now, they may do it in a way that's not obvious. They may do it by sombering on themselves. Oh, you know, no one ever wants to talk to me, and I never get what I want, and so on and so forth, which is taking away from you reaching your goal by you attending to them. These people are also not good for you. I have a very good friend of mine. He's smart. He's a cool kid. He's a lot of fun. He's got all these health issues all of a sudden, or I don't know if they're all of a sudden, but they feel like it. But he's always talking about he's there for people and no one's there for him. You know, might as well give up. You know, it sucks, and you can take time for other people, but they don't take time for you. And he's broadcasting all of this on social media, which, again, love the guy, but I personally can't be around him a lot when he's in that state, because it doesn't do me good. And I've also been that guy. I've been on the other end where the only attention that I get is empathy. So it's not for who I am, it's not the energy I have, it's not the inspiration I can give, it's none of those things. It's strictly so somebody can console me, which just keeps me where I'm at. It doesn't make anything better. And I recently had met somebody. She's extraordinary in the fact that she lives in a household with another person. Excuse me. And lately, over the last, I don't know, week or so, the least that I've known, apparently this is not something new, but that's aside from the fact, this person has been very draining on them. And she has this amazing ability to just isolate herself, to not feel like she's a hermit, but to cut off and set a boundary of how much intake of this other toxicity that she's consuming, and knows her tolerance. Now, that's really hard to do when you live in the same household. It's obviously much easier when you're outside of a household, when it's distance, when it's social media, whatever. That's very simple. But when you live in the same household, this is how relationships usually become toxic, is one person is trying to do something positive usually, and the other person, not even that they don't want them to succeed, but they don't want that person to take something from them, time, energy, money, whatever it is. So they just start, woe is me, they start running in on them regarding things, and that slowly brings them back down. trimming the fat, as I call it, is the hardest thing to do, but it's what success is. It's how you build success. It's necessary. If you have a routine that you're doing that you see is momentum for you to be better, you want to continue that no matter what. And that's something that's necessary. Another thing apart this is pausing life. It mentions in there, hey, we just all want to pause life and kind of figure this out and then resume it. Well, life doesn't care. My mom told me this. I had a very tragic thing happen to me in 2011. I had a girlfriend who committed suicide. I was called a murderer. I was called, you know, I was blamed for it. I was exiled from everyone that we knew, her family. It was a really difficult time. And a few days in, my mom told me the worst advice you could tell somebody at that time, but it's the best advice I probably ever had. She said, I'm sorry, and all this has happened, and none of it's your fault, and you'll figure that out, but life doesn't care. I wanted to pause and just have everyone, hey, can we all chill out and kind of mourn this and figure this out and then move forward? But tomorrow's going to come, whether you like it or not. The sun's going to rise and set tomorrow. Bills still need to be paid. Children still need to be taken care of. You know, jobs and occupations, all that still needs to be filled. The tomorrow is still coming. So through good and bad, you have to learn not to get too extreme in any one emotion. And that's part of the seasons that we'll go over tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll go over the rest of this. But there is a cool quote in here. Let me see if I can find it. I turned right to it. Now I don't know where it is. Here it is. So just take this in consideration. This has got a lot of really good quotes like this. Better than many of the wrong friends are a few of the right friends. Better than a few of the wrong friends are no friends at all. Kind of cool. Another one is eating alone is better than mingling with negative. Kevin Hart talks about this. Well, a bunch of people, Brendan Shaw, a bunch of people talk, comedians oddly enough, how the new cool thing is to be negative behind a profile. Is something's cool and let me just tear it down. And these are guys that are always grateful. These are guys that are always, you know, hey, shout out to whoever, that are always on looking at the positive side or commending those that have earned it. So when something's negative or wrong or you don't like it, you don't need to tear them down. You just don't talk about it. But when something you respect or something you think's really cool or someone you admire, you do give a shout out to them. And, you know, if you're a teacher, you do uplift somebody in class that did a good job. You do point them out for an achievement, but you don't embarrass them for something that they potentially done wrong or that they didn't excel at. Those are not good habits to have. So I know the seasons of life through all the seminars. So I mean, I could probably go through this whole process without the book, but the book is a good refresher. It's a very easy read, and it's got a lot of fun stuff in it. So I've read the first 54 pages. The next, I think, 50 pages are all regarding the 4 seasons themselves and how they apply to work ethic and life and so on. So I ran out of storage space on my phone. That's why this is coming so late. So I shouldn't have that problem probably for another week. Anyways, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it, and I'll look forward to going over the rest of this tomorrow. Have yourself a good evening.